The fastest way to stay poor is to fall into habits that feel totally normal. You wake up, you work hard, and you pay your bills, but somehow you are constantly running in place. This usually starts with lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, and suddenly every extra dollar feels like permission to upgrade your life. Combine that with spending money just to relieve the stress of earning it, and you create a quiet cycle of poverty that is incredibly hard to escape. This chart shows exactly how that trap springs shut. Notice how the red line representing consumer debt trends sharply upward as people use borrowed money to buy the illusion of success. But look at the blue line. That is actual net worth dropping inversely below the baseline. Using debt to look rich completely blocks your ability to actually become rich. Compare that to how the elite operate. Most common assets like stocks, investments in real estate, or a local business can be bought in a single afternoon if you have the cash and the right people in the room. But the assets that provide a true unfair advantage do not work like that. You cannot buy them on command. Instead of relying on static portfolios, the ultra-wealthy construct what we can call an invisible architecture. They build layers of intangible assets over time, assets that are so deeply embedded in their lives that they completely lock out the competition. That invisible architecture starts with the first layer, the personal foundation. These are internal traits that do the heavy lifting for you before you even enter a room or speak a single word. Take your reputation. Most people confuse reputation with a temporary image. You can rent an image by buying expensive clothes or running ads. A true reputation is the stable, enduring opinion that remains long after enough people have had substantial contact with you. You build it slowly, and it ensures you never have to introduce yourself from zero. This diagram illustrates another core element, taste. The internet is flooded with cheap content. Good taste filters that out, reducing waste, allowing the elite to discard noise at the top of the funnel, and consistently extract winning trends dropping out the bottom. Over the years, that reputation and taste start stacking together. They blend into true authenticity. It is a specific mix of clear judgment, a unique tone, and personal rhythm. Because it does not follow a safe, predictable template, it is impossible to fake. Because this personal foundation requires years of consistent behavior to solidify, it creates a moat. A competitor cannot suddenly spend $1 million to replicate your judgment or the trust people have in you. Once that personal foundation is set, you expand outward to the second layer, the social infrastructure. This is where your internal traits become external leverage. The first component here is proximity. If you hear about a major shift online, you are usually reacting to the finished story. Proximity means being close enough to the talent, the money, and the decision makers to hear the valuable signal before it degrades into mainstream noise. That proximity feeds directly into your network. A true network is not a pile of names in your phone. It is a system of trusted access. It means having people who will open a closed door or make the right introduction, allowing you to bypass months of traditional struggle in a matter of days. You scale that trust through a genuine audience. You can buy followers and views, but you cannot fake concentrated attention. A true audience has memory and an emotional connection that behaves like future leverage waiting for your next move. This entire social infrastructure acts as a protective shield around your goals. With the right proximity, network, and audience in place, you never have to launch a product, an idea, or a business from zero again. Finally, we reach the highest leverage layer of the moat, the scalable machine. This is where you separate your personal time from your income, allowing wealth generation to continue long after you step away from the desk. Systems and distribution act as a self-sustaining loop. Systems automate workflows without manual effort, while distribution provides a repeatable path to customers. You secure this machine with intellectual property. Turning unique processes into patents fences off your knowledge, forcing corporate giants to pay for access. Add data to the mix, and the machine accelerates. When a business stacks millions of tiny signals together to form a clear pattern of human behavior, it stops guessing. It knows exactly what kind of offer holds your attention, making financial success highly predictable. Completing this third layer severs the link between your physical effort and your income. It establishes a permanent, unfair economic advantage that simply runs in the background. Look at the completed invisible architecture. You have the personal foundation at the core, wrapped in the social infrastructure, and enclosed by the scalable machine. Together, they form an impenetrable fortress. Once you establish this exact combination of assets, you are insulated. A new competitor could walk into your industry with a sudden influx of cash, but they cannot buy the trust, the taste, or the systems you have built. The true cost of entry for this architecture is time. Every single piece of the structure requires patience to cultivate, which is exactly why the average person will never possess them. You cannot purchase a 10-year reputation or a deeply rooted network on command. This exposes a harsh irony. The masses often sink themselves into crippling debt just to project a fleeting image of success. Meanwhile, the elite quietly invest decades into building assets that, on the surface, do not even look like money. The choice is straightforward. You can continue wasting resources trying to buy the illusion of an advantage, or you can start the slow, deliberate work of building the kind of assets that no one